There was a trend on TikTok a couple of years ago. People would post an opinion they held without any further clarification once a day for the entire month of November. It was called #NoNuanceNovember. I actually wanted to partake in this trend when it first surfaced, but true to my brand, I am more than fashionably late. I originally tweeted all 30 in a thread at the end of November 2020. But it's 2022 now, and I've grown a little bit, so here is a mix of old and new hot takes. And even though I firmly believe that the denizens of the internet are allergic to nuance most of the time, I want to switch it up and explain some. Why? Because I'm a coward. So let's just call this #NominalNuanceNovember. Number 1, despite its racist origins, you still need to learn music theory. I'm not about to sit you down and tell you that you need to write the perfect chorale before you take a shot at a pop song. All I'm saying is that basic knowledge of how modern Western music works can take you a long way. Number 2 isn't mine, but I still stand by it. If you describe any kind of music as jazzy, you suck. Jazz is a genre full of different eras and styles. Calling something is a reductive generalization, and it is not fully representative of how diverse jazz music actually is. Number 3, if you think that a career in music isn't a valid career choice, guess what? You suck. You can't wrap your head around what I do? Well, I can't wrap my head around what it is about getting institutionalized into finding comfort in a structure that dumps your ass after working you like a dog for 50 plus years. Unpack, don't project. Number 4, yes, our music will be on streaming services. Stop asking. I'm all for broadening the scope of accessibility to music. I'm aware that some of the metrics that some platforms have to offer make it a necessary evil to have. And I'm not about to, if you love me, you, if streaming my music is the only way you can support. I just hate being constantly reminded about how an album that I poured 4 or 5 digits into making can be streamed at the cost of a penny that I don't even get half of. Number 5 is pretty simple. If a ballad does not have a groove behind it, it gets an automatic 0 from me. Number 6, the lack of access to solid music education directly correlates to the quality of popular music. You want to hear better music? Teach these kids what they need to express themselves and do a damn good job at it. Shout out to all of the music teachers in underserved communities. Y'all are doing the Lord's work. Number 7 is more of a reminder than a hot take, but classifying Western genres then turning around to call everything else world music is cultural erasure. Figureheads in the studies of said music are trying to restructure their field. The Grammys are giving their music categories more classifications by adding more categories. If all of these people are making a change, then you can too. Stop saying it. Number 8, sampling any kind of foreign or indigenous musics and traditions without understanding what it is you're sampling is actually terrible. It's also cultural appropriation even when the intentions are pure and the sample is cleared. If you're smart about what you sample, it can add a whole new depth of meaning to your song. Also, imagine anyone involved in the making of this shit now. Number 9, if you think the infrastructure behind Western music is normal, realize that the words you didn't say is a weapon. Normal things are recognized in contrast to what is not normal, which can have harmful social ramifications. Oh God. Number 10, the infrastructure of the music conservatory needs to be modernized to include all of the other career opportunities in music that aren't traditional performance positions. While I'm grateful to have the knowledge I learned from the people who taught me, I would have loved to learn about other things like the basics of arts administration, audio engineering, or social media marketing. Maybe I didn't do enough with the experience I have, and that's why I'm here on YouTube making videos like this. But I'd also be a liar if I didn't say I felt like I got hung out to dry because my goals didn't match the modus operandi of other people that go to music school. Number 11, jazz does not need to be as cerebral or as big brain as you think it has to be. The emotional and the instinctual connections formed between not only the artist but also the listeners are both equally huge parts of jazz. Both the simplistic and complex are right, and no school of thought is sovereign. Number 12, any current day rapper that says they invented or started a flow are just fucking stupid. To paraphrase Rick Ross, everything you've worn was worn once before. You didn't invent or start shit, you just simply brought it back. Number 13, stop pulling the head of that jazz standard out of your ass every time you play it. If there are lyrics to the jazz standard, learn them, including the verses. Let that inform the way you play them. She'll be giving sincere and authentic, and we'll love that for her. Number 14, songs from video games are becoming the new jazz standards. If we were to sit here and ask ourselves what current media is as popular as operas, Broadway musicals, and movie musicals were in the 1900s, one of the obvious answers here would be video games. And if you dislike it, go buy some real wheels in a projector or some shellac in a gramophone and shove them up your ass. Number 15, running that passage over and over and over again so that you'll nail it in the all region auditions is the wrong way to practice. Practice the fundamentals of your playing that passage challenges. Your future self will thank you for it. And if your band directors or lesson teachers don't tell you that or point you in the right direction, they're silly fucking goobers. Number 16, if you write songs with lyrics that intentionally rhyme, double the amount of syllables you think you need to rhyme. Of course, in lieu of this, you can fiddle with things like cadences or phrase lengths, but shit, it, and bitch are not strong enough to stand alone on their own as a rhyme scheme, and if I hear that one more time, I might snap! Number 17, the concept of prosody in songwriting is underrated. When you write music and lyrics, write them in a way that the stronger parts of the word line up with the stronger parts of the beat. Give every word the proper space to live and breathe. It's hands on my knees shaking ass on my thought shit, not hands on my knees shaking ass on my thought shit. Number 18, if you know horn players and you're still making horn parts with shitty VST sound banks, shame on you. Make music with your friends and release awesome saxo beat music with much realer and less cringy saxophones. That lo-fi track is gonna sound a lot cooler with a real trumpet player and a Harmon-Mute. That pop rocker country demo is gonna sound a lot better with real fiddles, basses, and guitars. Number 19, it is time to phase out the use of a saxophone as a solo instrument in popular music. As a trumpet player, I'm a little bit salty that the saxophones have a whole school of playing centered around pop and R&B. Meanwhile, the last 3 songs I remember hearing a trumpet on were Cheerleader by Omi, Safe and Sound by Capital Cities, and Mambo No. 5 by Lou Bega. Give us our shot of redemption, please. Number 20, learning the history of the music you play is the most important pillar in learning how to play it. Listen to the masters of your instrument in your genre of interest. You might find more than you expected, and you might fall deeper in love with a genre you once thought was just kinda cool. Okay, number 21. Just as fans in certain sectors of the music community have some healing to do, the artists they follow do too. Now, don't get me twisted. The notion that an artist with any kind of platform has to have a squeaky clean demeanor is absurd. The reason why artists have fans is because they resonate with someone on a certain level. Fans see a certain part of themselves inside that artist, and sometimes it can be in imperfection. So it would make sense for that artist to be aware of that relationship, look inside themselves, and try to become a better person one step at a time. The moment fans witness that process happening, they're inspired to change themselves. And when that happens, maybe we're all a little less toxic. Number 22, music critics have a hard job and deserve a lot more respect from artists. Critics are on the side of the fans by telling them what is worthy of their time and money, which adds more accountability for you. Now, I'm not about to sit here and say that all critics are good or bad. There are people out there who are honest and true to their intentions, and there are some people who just get their kicks from being a provocateur by writing as a critic. It all depends on the artist's ability to determine what is destructive versus constructive. And if you're just gonna sit there with your head up your ass, your career is gonna go nowhere. And if you're offended by that, I'm glad I mean every word I say. Do better. Number 23, music critics also need to learn more about music to do their jobs better. I'm not saying that you need both a music and a journalism degree to do what you do, but you have to be aware that there are 2 sides to this coin here. It sucks for an artist to put their heart and soul into something only to have someone like you say that they hate it or that it's not good enough. But artistry does not grow without criticism. If you have an iota of passion for writing as a music critic, you need to be aware of this relationship between the artist and the critic and your ability to affect the artist whenever you write what you write. If you don't try to understand the artist's efforts and how it translates on the record, you're doing nothing but sowing a deeper sense of distrust that intensifies the disconnect between artists and critics. We don't need that here. Number 24. Any active effort to depoliticize music is fucking stupid. I like to use music to escape from current affairs, but art has always reflected the moods and histories of entire generations. And when it comes to music created by people of color who are affected by politics, many communities form around the catharsis this music provides, and it serves all of us as a reminder that we're going through these things together. That's a beautiful thing, and if you want to deny us of that by saying, leave politics out of this because you don't want to deal with it, check your privilege, starting with how you're unable to be affected by legislation and politics. Number 25, good vibes only musicians and fans are gatekeepers. Again, I use music as a means of escaping reality too, but when it gets to a point where people expect others to never have any negative or unpleasant emotions, music loses its allure and its purpose. Saying that good vibes are the only good vibes dismisses how other people feel, when the reality is that no emotions, within reason, are bad. If your intentions aren't harmful and you still feel this way, shut up, listen to others, exercise some sympathy, and realize you're being a toxic asshole. Number 26, fans and listeners do a harsh injustice to the music they like by incorrectly stating origins. Misinformation spreads quicker than facts, and the internet's wide and quick belief of misinformation turns everything into a bad time. If you feel mad about how Trump bootlickers and sock puppets still believe that Joe Biden cheated in the 2020 election, think about how mad black people must feel when you go around stating that hip-hop was invented solely by Latina people. Oh, Lord Jesus, help me with this one. Number 27, K-pop stans make a worse case for K-pop than the actual music. I would literally be down to sit through hyper-produced trap and pop if it wasn't for these fans making up their own language by appropriating African-American vernacular English and acting like dumbass kids or like Miley Cyrus in her twerking era. Number 28, if a non-conceptual album has a runtime of over an hour, I'm not listening to it. You seriously can't tell me to sit down and listen to this huge ass string of songs that have no sense of connection whatsoever. I listen to albums for an experience. If I wanted to listen to a string of unconnected songs, I would have just put my entire iTunes library on shuffle. Number 29, your playlist for spicy moments better be thought out and not based solely on the vibes that you get from the songs. Yes, that one song has an instrumental that's the right kind of moody, but please listen to the lyrics. If I'm consensually with you and I hear a song in the background that's about something like a breakup, either I'm getting turned off or that playlist is. I'll finish off my tea with this one. Number 30, give T.I., David Banner, DJ Toom, and Lil Jon their goddamn roses. Right now. Expeditiously. If it wasn't for them pioneering trap and crunk music, none of the music we have today would exist in the capacity that they do. Music festivals and DJ sets would be bland as fuck, K-pop would be seen in the same light of corniness as J-pop, and any other music aside from that would be as flat and as deadpan as a fucking naked baked potato. And that marks the end of my contribution to hashtag No Nuance November or hashtag Nominal Nuance November. If you like what you saw, feel free to give it a big thumbs up, hit that subscribe button below, and click the bell to the right of it to be notified of every upload. Also, if you have any thoughts or counter arguments to anything that I've said in this video, feel free to drop it in the comments section and I just might chop it up with you. If you want to see more videos like this, you can help me make them by visiting my Patreon page. When you pledge, you can get a whole lot of complimentary goodies. And if you want to keep up with me on social media, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter or join my Discord server. I also do a lot more than just these videos. There are Twitch streams, music releases, IRL concerts, curated playlists. The links to everything are in the description box below. Thanks so much for sticking through all of this, and until next time, drink water and stay dope.